Once upon a time, in a land where the sun shone brightly and the fields were green, lived a fox named Finn. Now, Finn wasn't just any fox. He was known throughout the forest for his quick wit, his sharp eyes, and, well, his rather large appetite. He believed he was the smartest creature for miles around, and he wasn't shy about it. One particularly hot afternoon, Finn was trotting along the edge of a vineyard. The sun was beating down, and his throat was as dry as a dusty road. He'd been searching for a tasty snack all morning, but the forest seemed unusually quiet.
Oh, for just a little something to eat.
He mumbled to himself, his stomach rumbling in agreement. As he padded along, a wonderful scent drifted through the air. It was sweet, fruity, and incredibly inviting. Finn followed his nose, his tail wagging with anticipation, and then he saw it. High above his head, hanging from a thick woody vine that climbed up a tall trellis, was the most magnificent bunch of grapes he had ever laid eyes on. They were perfect. Each grape was plump, a deep, rich purple, and seemed to shimmer in the sunlight like a cluster of jewels. A thin layer of morning dew still clung to them, making them look even more refreshing.
Well, hello there.
Finn said with a grin, licking his lips.
You look absolutely delicious. Just the thing to quench a poor fox's thirst.
He imagined the sweet juice bursting in his mouth, the cool relief it would bring on this sweltering day. This wasn't just a snack. It was a feast fit for a king, or at least a very clever fox. He was certain that these were the finest grapes in the entire country, and they were destined for his belly. Feeling confident, Finn took a few steps back to get a running start. He crouched low, wiggling his hips like a sprinter on the starting line.
All right, Finn.
He coached himself.
Easy does it. A simple hop, and those grapes are all yours.
He took a deep breath, picturing his glorious prize. With a powerful burst of energy, he sprang into the air. His paws stretched out, his claws ready to snatch the bunch. He flew through the air and landed back on the ground with a soft thud, a good few feet below the grapes. They swayed gently in the breeze, almost as if they were teasing him. Finn shook his head, a little surprised.
A bit higher than they look,
he muttered, dusting off his paws. No matter. That was just a warm-up. Round 2. He backed up even further this time, his eyes fixed on the target. He knew he just needed a little more power. He charged forward, his legs pumping like pistons, and launched himself upwards with all his might. This time he got closer, so close he could almost smell the sweet fragrance of the grapes. His nose twitched. But just as his paws were about to touch the vine, gravity took over, and he came tumbling back down to earth, landing in a slightly less graceful heap. A small rabbit, peeking out from a nearby bush, giggled quietly before scurrying away. Finn's ears drooped for a second. He was starting to feel a little frustrated, and his pride was a bit bruised. How could a simple bunch of grapes outsmart the grape Finn? It was unthinkable, right? That's it. No more messing around, he declared to the empty path. Third time's the charm. He decided on a new strategy. He would try a vertical jump, a straight shot up. He stood directly beneath the grapes, coiled his body like a spring, and exploded upwards. Up, up, up he went. But it was still not enough. He grazed the lowest leaf with the tip of his nose before falling back down with a frustrated sigh. He tried again and again. He tried running jumps, standing jumps, even a strange spinning jump he invented on the spot. Each attempt ended the same way, with Finn on the ground and the grapes hanging mockingly, just out of reach. He was getting tired now. His legs ached. He was panting, and he was even thirstier than before. Finn sat down, staring up at the grapes with a frown. They didn't look quite so wonderful anymore. In fact, the more he looked at them, the more he started to notice their flaws. Were they a bit small? And that deep purple color, maybe it was a sign they were past their prime. He stood up, brushing the dirt from his fur with an air of dignity. He tossed his head and sniffed loudly as if he'd just made a profound discovery. He wanted to make sure that if anyone was watching, they wouldn't think he had failed. No, the great Finn never fails. He simply changes his mind. He started to walk away, his nose held high in the air. As he walked, he began to talk to himself, just loud enough for any hidden onlookers to hear.
Humph! Who would want those grapes anyway?
He said with a scoff.
I bet they're sour. Yes, that's it. Terribly sour.
He glanced back over his shoulder one last time. The grapes hung there, glistening in the sun.
Probably the sourest grapes in the whole vineyard,
he continued, his voice growing more confident.
Only a foolish animal would bother with such bitter fruit. I'm far too clever to waste my time on something so worthless.
And with that final declaration, Finn the Fox trotted off down the path, his head held high, trying his best to look as if he hadn't wanted those grapes at all. He tried to convince himself that he was better off, that he had made a wise choice to leave them. But deep down, his stomach still rumbled, and he couldn't quite forget the image of those beautiful, plump, and probably very sweet grapes. And so our story comes to an end. It just goes to show that it's easy to dislike what you can't have. It's a funny little trick our minds play on us. But maybe, just maybe, it's better to admit we could unreach something than to pretend it was unworth reaching for in the first place. Thank you so much for joining me for this classic tale. What did you think of Finn the Fox? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed our story time, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more wonderful stories. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.